Hey YouTube, welcome back to RCDiesel channel. You remember that Komatsu Dozer that I went out and worked on, the D85E? I didn't get any video footage of it running before I worked on it, but it was only running on 5 cylinders. It had a bad miss. Tore the engine down, we pulled the number 5 injector, and it was totally shot. We put all new injectors in, set the valves, put everything back together. I ran it, and I wasn't real impressed with the way it ran. It was running on 6 cylinders now, but it still didn't sound quite right. It was really smoky. I was a little suspicious that maybe the timing was retarded. I wasn't sure.
I'm not totally impressed with the way it runs, but that being said, at least it runs on 6 cylinders now. It sounds like maybe the timing is a little bit retarded.
But the thing is, a lot of those older mechanical engines will be smoky and just not run nice until they get warm. And I never had the chance to take that thing outside, run it, warm it up, push some stuff around, something, work it, and find out what it really sounded like once it was warm. Well, the customer has had it outside. They've done some work with it now. They've run it for a few hours. And unfortunately, it's bad. It's bad. We got to go back. Something's not right. It runs on 6 cylinders now, but something's not right. It's been getting steadily worse in the few hours that they've been running it, and at this point, it's backfiring out the exhaust every once in a while now. So we got a cam timing problem, we got a valve issue, we got injector timing, injection pump timing. Something's goofy here. We got to go back and find out what it is. The moral of the story here, guys, is if you do engine work and you don't take that machine out, or your car or truck or whatever you're working on, if you don't take it out and run it and get it hot and make it work, do something with it, you're not done yet, right? And we know that, but just the way the situation was in this case, I didn't have the opportunity to take it outside, and the customer said, yeah, no problem, we'll take care of it. So anyway, we're gonna go back out there, run that thing in the shop, and find out what the rest of the story is here now, because something else is going on. So let's go. Well, they only used this thing for 7 hours, and now it runs terrible. It's backfiring out the exhaust, smoking like crazy, runs bad. So, it wasn't backfiring before I touched it, so the first thing I gotta do is rip this all apart again, and I'm gonna recheck my valve set to just make sure I didn't miss a locking nut or something, or if I misadjusted a valve somewhere. So I gotta tear this all apart again and just recheck my overhead job and make sure I got that right. And then we will continue diagnosing from there. Alright, I got them this far apart, back down to the valves. Now I have to roll this thing over to top dead center on number 1, and then I will start checking. Okay, so if we look down here, you can see the pointer down there. And I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on that or not. There we go. I'm right on the TDC 1.6 mark, which is where I'm supposed to be according to the book. I have valve overlap on number 6, and both of my number 1 rockers are loose, so that confirms we're top dead center and that the cam is at least close. But when I look down here at the injection pump timing, you can see that it's actually off. It's really hard to get the camera in there, but we're not actually right on. So I'm gonna check the valves and make sure that they're all set properly, and then I'm gonna see how we're actually supposed to time this injection pump, because sometimes you have to time it at top dead center, and sometimes you have to rotate the crank to so and so many degrees and then time it. If we go back in here on that damper, there are degree marks there. Sometimes you have to line up to a certain, like 12 degrees before top dead center or something like that, and then you time your pump there. So I'll figure that out, but first I just want to double check that my valve set is good and make sure that I didn't mess anything up there, because it wasn't barking out the exhaust like that when I first ran it. That just started happening after I put these rebuilt injectors in and did the valve set. So I guess you guys never got to hear it, but it was backfiring out the exhaust really bad, like hurt your ears loud. So something goofy going on here. Interesting. Okay, so number 3 exhaust valve was loose, not like crazy loose, but it was looser than it should have been.
And now number 4 intake is tight. And not crazy tight, like I can get the feeler gauge in there still, but just tighter than how I set valves. So that's interesting. Okay, well, outside of that, the rest of them are right where they should be. So safe to say we do not have a valve issue, which makes me feel better because that means it's nothing that I did, whatever's going on here. So I'm very suspicious of the injection timing at this point. The cam timing seems to be bang on from what I can tell. Valves are good. Next is going to be injection pump timing. And if injection pump timing is good, then I probably should be doing a compression test on here before we take that pump off and send it off to get rebuilt. But one step at a time here, okay? Just calm down, settle down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Ray. I should probably explain a little bit more of my thought process here. This machine has over 16,000 hours on it. But this engine was supposedly either new or rebuilt at about 12,000 hours. So it's only got, 4-ish thousand hours on this engine, supposedly. I don't know anything more than that. So this looks like the original engine. It does not look like it was all painted nice and stuff like that. Like paint is all coming off everywhere, injectors and different stuff. So I think this thing was probably in-framed or rebuilt or something. Which, when that happens, usually the injection pump does not get any work done. If the injection pump was working, if the injectors were working, quite often on a rebuild, guys, just it all goes back together. So that pump very well may have 16,000 hours on it or more. Now, the reason why that's significant is because those injectors were wore. One of them, number 5, was totally shot. And when I put these Reman injectors in, their pop pressures are all set right back up to factory. And they may be just a little bit too hot now for the pump to make enough pressure to open them if the pump is wore. If you get enough fuel bypassing those pumping plungers inside, it will retard your timing significantly. And that's kind of, to me, how this motor runs. It runs like the timing is really retarded. So if the injectors were working before with low pressure, now you rebuild them and you set your pop pressures up back to high spec. Now that pump is having to work harder to open them, and it may be that it's just struggling. First, I have to check the actual pump timing and see where it actually is, because we don't want to be making assumptions, right? We go based on facts. So we're going to start with that, and one step at a time we'll go from there. But that's the explanation of sort of the thought process I'm going through here. Alrighty, so just getting stuff set up here. I got that cover off on the bottom that goes around this coupling. And I'm noticing that several of these wafer discs are cracked. I can't get my hand in there to point, but you can see that crack right there. That one is cracked, and there's another one. This one here is cracked there as well. And so I wonder how loose that is then, or if that even is loose. Oh! That's a lot of play for an injection pump. You can't... What in the world? Oh, it's on the shaft there. Hang on, look at this. I think I found it now. So this coupler here must be keyed to that shaft. That's the drive shaft for the pump. The only play you should have there is whatever gear lash is inside there. But this is the coupler for the pump, and that's the drive coupler off that accessory drive. So when I turn this, this is turning the pump. But look at how that shaft is not turning. So there's our problem. We got a sheared key or something is going on here, and that's why the injection timing is backed way off. So that's what it is. I don't even know what the injection timing is right now, but I know it is definitely backed way off. So now I got to get that apart and figure that out. Taking these coupler bolts out, and just for fun, I rolled it over, set it back to top dead center number 1. So there's your timing mark lined up there. And look at how much this moves. That's a lot of timing. Oh, that's bad. I hope that shaft isn't wrecked. Okay, look in that mirror there, you can see the keyway. It's not amazing, it's definitely wore, but I think it will be okay, especially if we pinch that thing nice and tight with that pinch bolt. But this guy's got to get changed. He's toast. Okay, new parts are in. Got a new key there to replace the one that's all wore off. We got new discs here to replace the cracked one. New coupler.
All right, so give me a few minutes to get this back on the machine. All right, that drive coupler is all back together in there. I got it timed. 16 degrees before top dead center is where they want the advance on this one, so that's where I timed it to. My timing marks are not lining up here because I had to roll the engine over to get these tight because you can't access the bolts at the back. But anyway, that is all good. So now I got to put the rest of this all back together so I can run it and see what it sounds like now. Okay, I think I have enough of this back together that we can start it and give it a little test run and see if I timed it right. Yeah, that's a little more how it should look. No smoke out of the exhaust. There's our drive shaft turning down there. Yes! I would say I got it timed right. Runs beautiful. Well, there it is. Got the shields all back on and that machine is back together, ready to roll again. Ready to go push some snow. We'll listen to it one more time and then we'll release it back into service. Beep. Oh, she just runs so good now. Fires right up. No smoke. That's just what we want to see. Runs great. RCDiesel approved. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.